What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our outlooks for the 2025 Major League Baseball season. Today we have the Seattle Mariners. Last season, the Mariners, people would say, had a crazy, unfathomable collapse. They basically led the AL West basically the entire season. Collapsed, don't even make the playoffs. They finished 85 and 77. They did have some key free agents, I guess some key pieces leave. Josh Rojas goes to the White Sox, 1 year, $3.5 million. Justin Turner, 1 year, $6 million to go to the Cubs. Yimi Garcia goes to the Blue Jays, 2 years, $15 million. Jorge Polanco does come back for $7 million a year. Luis Urias goes to the Athletics, 1 year, $1.1 million. And JT Chargoy goes to the Rangers for a minor league contract. Let's take a look at the lineup and rotation. So taking a look at their lineup really quick, it goes a bit like this. Victor Robles, Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, Randy Arozarena, Luke Raley, Mitch Haniger, who they traded for along with Arozarena and Raley last year, J.P. Crawford, Jorge Polanco, who they re-signed, and Ryan Bliss. When I look at this lineup, I'm not really intrigued. I hate to say it about the Mariners. I want to see them succeed really bad. I think everyone does. But based off what happened to them last year, they just didn't do enough to stick out as a team that is going to be at least in the wild card consideration. They didn't do enough to maybe top teams in the AL West that did a lot more than them. The Mariners, in my opinion, did the least out of all these teams in the AL West right now. The Athletics even went out and signed a big contract. I know they were forced to basically sign Luis Severino, but at least they were also doing that and re-signing a Brent Rooker, extended him, and then extended a Lawrence Butler. The Mariners, what they did this offseason, the biggest acquisition they made free agent-wise, if you think about it, they brought in Rowdy Tellez, a non-roster invitee on the bench, and Donovan Solano on a major league contract, who's 37. Pitching rotation, their pitching rotation's already solid, but then the only other guy, they didn't bring in a single free agent projected to be on the opening day starting lineup or rotation or bullpen. There's a waiver wire pickup right here. The Mariners had a straight dud of an offseason. I could easily say that. And I'm not hating on the Mariners, it's just saying the truth. Julio Rodriguez is a star, 6.1 projected WAR, 135 WRC plus, awesome. Cal Raleigh's going to be really good, solid power guy. Randy Arozarena they traded for, give them credit. He just didn't have the greatest year last year. Now he's just projected a 2.7 WAR, 748 OPS with a 122 WRC plus. Probably not the Randy Arozarena a lot of people would think in the War Department, but Randy Arozarena is kind of starting to dip down from his peak. Randy Arozarena, I still think, is a very good baseball player, but I'm kind of worried we already saw the peak of Randy Arozarena, if you know where I'm going to this. But overall, this lineup is very lackluster. I know a lot of Mariners fans really wanted Ha-Seong Kim to go in there and play in the infield. They didn't get him. What happens to him now? He's now on AAA Oklahoma City with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He didn't make the major league team. Could they have made the Mariners? Probably, at least on the bench maybe, or at least maybe get a chance if they want to replace Mitch Haniger, put J.P. Crawford at DH or whatever, but at the same time, you need the power from Mitch Haniger, and he's projected to give you a 668 OPS and a 97 WRC+. This lineup, in my opinion, just doesn't look like a lineup that's going to be that competitive. Now, however, what the Mariners have that a lot of teams don't have is an amazing pitching rotation. Let's get to that, because it's a complete 180 from my opinion of the lineup. So looking at the pitching rotation, it goes a bit like this. Logan Gilbert, Cy Young candidate. Luis Castillo could be a Cy Young candidate. Bryce Miller, another guy who's really solid. Brian Wu, really solid. And Emerson Hancock, who is less than a year of service time. He is new. 4.68 projected ERA, which, he is basically still a rookie, I would say. And then you still have a guy in George Kirby down here that is still coming off a shoulder inflammation. He will more than likely be healthy at some point of this regular season. And in the bullpen, you got Andres Munoz, Colin Snyder, Gregory Santos, Trent Thornton, Tyler Saucedo, Seth Martinez, Gabe Spear, and Carlos Vargas. I think it's a solid bullpen. It's not really the most enticing, but it's headlined by Andres Munoz. That's their guy. That's going to be their main guy. But they might not even need to use the bullpen that much because this rotation is nasty. Logan Gilbert, like I said, Cy Young candidate, projected at 3.36 ERA, 3.5 projected WAR, and then almost 10 strikeouts per nine, about 2 walks per nine. That's a solid number. Luis Castillo, another guy. He was in trade conversations. People thought they could have been trading for a Tristan Casas from the Red Sox, maybe flip Casas for Luis Castillo. That doesn't happen, but the Mariners keep an amazing pitching asset that they got from the Cincinnati Reds a couple years ago, back in 2022. 3.56 projected ERA, 2.8 WAR. Bryce Miller, 2.1 projected WAR, 3.77 ERA projection. Brian Wu, another great young arm, 1.8 projected WAR, 3.71 projected ERA. I would say his WAR might be nearing a 2. But here's the thing about these guys, you got to hope they stay healthy, especially Brian Wu. I know he's had some injury concerns. He is a very exciting pitcher to watch. But overall, it's a complete 180 on this Mariners team. You go from this bottom of the lineup especially, I am not intrigued at all, probably from Mitch Haniger down. And Victor Robles, I guess, is okay, but still, I'm not really intrigued by at least this bottom portion. Luke Raley is very close to being in that portion, but I think he'll be good enough. But then you look at this rotation, and it's oh my goodness, this is one of the best rotations in baseball. So I don't know why the Mariners just did nothing this offseason to add to a team that could be very competitive. They still have stars. They have a Randy Arozarena, who I brought up earlier. Julio Rodriguez, of course. And then this amazing pitching rotation. And what did they do to add? The only additions on the Major League team right now are Seth Martinez in a waiver wire pickup. And then you go up here to the bench, Rowdy Tellez, who is a non-roster invitee, and Donovan Solano, who they brought in from the Padres. Those are the only big additions. And these two bats have a combined .8 projected WAR between Solano and Tellez. So overall, this Mariners team is going to be very interesting this year, because here's the thing with them. They could start out hot as well and just ride this pitching rotation and just hope the bottom of the order clicks. Or they could be worse than last year. I don't really know where to predict with this. A win range, maybe just to be safe, 78 to 84. I think they could be worse this year. I just don't know if the pitching rotation can do everything. They're going to need help in this lineup, and it just can't be Julio Rodriguez. It just can't be Randy Arozarena, Kyle Raleigh, Luke Raley. It can't just be Victor Robles of all people. They need the bottom order like J.P. Crawfords, your Mitch Hanigers, your Ryan Blisses, your Jorge Polanco's to just step up a little bit and be able to provide to this lineup. But thank you all for watching this video. We are almost to the end of this series. Thank you all also for helping us get to 300 subscribers. If you aren't already, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment your thoughts about the Seattle Mariners. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one.